everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode number 341. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
We are back live to tape here in Anthony's abode.
We are in person. We don't, we always joke about not doing this enough because we live close to each other now.
And now that things might be going on in the future, now we're actually getting together more often.
We are yes, which makes total sense because that's how we work.
Totally. And then all of a sudden, nil.
And then done.
But we're back for another wonderful episode. Kind of a viewer response episode, kind of sort of, which we'll get into in a little bit.
It is a viewer's response episode, which is nice. It's because we always ask everybody to kind of, like, if you have any suggestions for us, like a topic you want to cover or a specific game, whatever it is. Opinion you have. So, and every once in a while we do listen.
Sometimes, and sometimes people actually respond. So we're gonna have one. We'll get into that a little later on. But first, as always, we're gonna start off not with me because I'm still waiting for my Glow Pocket. Apparently, ground shipping is truly ground shipping.
Well, that's why they charged you less for shipping this time.
Well, first of all, it started in Compton, California, so that was my first concern.
Oh.
Now it's somewhere. Then it made it to Las Vegas.
You're not going to get a Glow Pocket. You're going to get a whole pocket.
Yeah, probably. Exactly. Or I'll just get the box like I did the last watch that I got.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
And then I think right now it's somewhere in York, Pennsylvania. So,
all right, so it's on the way.
It's on its way. I'm looking forward to it. But a lot of people, just real fast, a lot of people have already gotten it and are posting it, and this thing looks awesome. And a lot of people, and I'll try and do it as well when I get it, a lot of people have like a special edition Game Boy game that glows in the dark. Oh. And it kind of all matches together.
Oh, wait, so does this mean you've committed to opening it? Because you had said last time, like, you might just save it.
So that is still debatable. Okay. I might just open it, try it, and then put it back in the box.
He's going to open it.
But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You're going to open it.
So
you're going to open it to see how cool it is that it glows in the dark, and then you're never going to play it again.
That's 1,000% true. Because to be honest with you, I don't play as much the current Pocket as I do. But that's a lot of things. Again, a whole episode of games we've bought that we've never played. And really, that should be a topic later on.
That's that's my annual Black Friday.
It really is.
It is. Black Friday, I buy like 10 games, and then they never come out of the shrink wrap.
Yeah, but luckily you buy them physical, so the day can come. You know what? I'm never going to play this. Let me sell this back.
Yes.
All mine's digital.
Yeah, yours just lives there.
That's the one complaint I'll have about digital games.
Oh, I have many. Complaints, but that's not what this episode's about.
No. But let's start off by I can see there already you picked up a couple cool things.
Yeah. So on my travels in Canada,
the Great White North.
Yes, I went there last weekend, and I showed you a couple of games last week that I picked up there.
Oh,
when
yes,
we recorded,
yes.
I picked up Tomb Raider Chronicles and Death and Return of Superman for Genesis. Right after we recorded, I went out and found another store.
Oh, a different store.
Different store.
Okay.
Went to a different store. And while I was there, I honestly wasn't planning to pick up anything. I just wanted to kind of wander around it. But I saw a couple of things. I was like, not that expensive. And I wanted to add them to my collection.
We never plan on purchasing.
No. I never plan on purchasing. You always plan on purchasing.
When I walk in, sometimes the intent is not there. But then it just ends up happening.
No, that is a lie. That is a lie. No, for me, it's odd when I walk. Like, for me, it's more like, I say 50-50 when I walk into a store if I'm going to grab something. But I grabbed a couple of games.
Yeah.
This one I just grabbed because it wasn't that expensive and it was sitting there, and I have a way to play TurboGrafx games on my Retro Freak, so I thought I'd grab this. This is Fire Pro Wrestling Second Bout for the PC Engine or TurboGrafx, whichever way you want to do it. It's really blurry. Sorry about that. I hate when that happens. We'll do it this way. You do that, and then we do this.
Are we doing this in post?
Whatever. Anyway, so Fire Pro Wrestling Second Bout should be fun. By Human Creative.
Look at that. You can put your name. I don't remember that. Well, I really didn't have a thing. You can actually write your name on the back of the cards.
I wonder if that was only in Japan.
Maybe. Oh, in Japan.
Maybe. Don't
Interesting.
know. Anyway, grab that.
Very cool.
And then I was actually really surprised to find, not only find this, but I didn't realize, like, I thought this was going for more money than what I paid for it, which made me really happy to add it to my collection. Because, again, I never owned a Wii when the Wii came out. I got it at least a decade later. Like, even when the Wii U came out, I didn't buy any Wii games.
Yeah.
So I was really happy to grab this to add to my collection, which is a Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii. Now, Brawl was the one that came out on GameCube first, right?
No. That was Melee.
Oh, that's right, Melee.
Or Melee.
I'm sorry. Yeah, see, I haven't kept track of Smash Brothers that much.
Yeah,
but it's the original Melee, Brawl,
and then Super Smash Brothers for Wii U, and then Super Smash Brothers for 3DS, which came out at the same time, and then Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
And then Ultimate. So
that's a nice copy.
Got that
too.
nice copy, very clean, very happy about that.
This, I think. So I remember you had gotten the original Smash Brothers on N64.
Yes, I did.
And I hated it.
I remember. Because it just went really fast.
No, it was just a weird. Which even to today, it still is. It's still kind of a weird concept on how to lose the round. And then all like the flying off and everything. I just wasn't a fan of for the first game. Melee, everyone loves.
Melee, I never owned.
But I don't think I own Melee, but I might have rented it once or twice.
Melee.
And with Melee, a lot of people that was kind of the go-to for a while. I think for
I'm checking to see if I have it
for tournaments and stuff. But I will admit, Brawl is really the first one where I'm like, you know what? Let me get into this. Also, it's the first one where they started getting really cool characters like Snake from Metal Gear Solid was in this. Where everyone else before this, well, the 2 games before, was all Nintendo characters.
Wait, is that a dog?
Yeah, from Nintendogs, which was a game for Nintendo,
right?
For the 3DS or the DS.
So you got to play as the dog, or
yeah, you got it was either the dog or it might have been just a level.
Oh, okay.
But nevertheless, when I saw Snake and Sonic, so like they were the first 2 like special edition characters or whatever. Like, oh, that's interesting, and then that became a norm for the series as it went along. Brawl, I started looking at,
which is the one with Freddy Krueger.
That would be Mortal Kombat.
Oh, damn.
Which a Mortal Kombat with Mario in it would probably be awesome.
Oh, very true. Which reminds me, I do have to get the Mortal Kombat with Freddy Krueger.
Mortal Kombat. Do you see the? Well, I don't know if you have it in the news.
I don't have it in the news, but
just real fast, they got Megan Fox is playing like
Natara.
Natara, something like that. But then they got a skin for Johnny Cage of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, no, they had announced that a while ago.
Oh, I don't remember hearing about
they announced that Jean-Claude Van Damme, who they said he was the original person they asked to play Johnny Cage.
Well, that was all the way back when.
Right,
yes,
way back when. So then, I heard that news previously that they had.
Well, but I didn't know they were adding him in MK1. Yeah. But, again, as a skin and a wicked fatality.
I didn't see the fatality, but I gotta say, I haven't been excited about a Mortal Kombat game in a very long time. Like, I want this one.
No, this one,
I really
want
promoting
the hell out of it.
Yeah, I want this one.
They got Dave Bautista doing the commercials. I thought he was in it, but he's not. He's just doing the commercials.
He'll probably be a DLC later.
He probably will. But nevertheless, Super Smash
comes out this week, by the way.
It does, yes.
The 19th.
I'm debating what system to get it on.
The 19th, yeah. So. Oh, well, not this week. Next week. 19th.
Yes, true.
13 if you pre-order it. September 13th, like, you get a special 5-day.
True. But also,
access.
Mortal Kombats tend to drop very quickly.
Well, no. That's
again, not trying to sound.
Nope. Look, it's that time of year, and I might as well announce it now. It's September, right? This is usually when I go into my dark zone, whatever the hell we want to call it. Like this is
so hibernating.
Yes, this is when I hibernate from buying new games because Black Friday is 2 months away.
Which, hey, look, smart idea. I don't blame.
And everything drops for Black Friday.
Very true.
Mortal Kombat 1, I guarantee you, will be at least $20 cheaper for Black Friday.
Probably.
So
if you wait a year or so, it'll probably be like $10.
Yes.
So, but nevertheless, looks very cool.
Yes, it does.
And looking forward to, like I said, I just got to figure out what system to get it on. So.
Yep, I will PS5 it.
We'll see.
So
you should play on the road.
So you should PS5 it.
Well, I could play. Well,
you can play it on the road if you get that ugly ass.
Which, trust me, if I didn't get the Glow Pocket, that thing would be on order.
I definitely.
I got news for you. It might still be on order very soon.
It's Santa's gonna bring it to you.
Ooh, yes, I should ask Santa.
You should ask Santa.
But I'm not allowed to send the letter out till December 1st.
No. You can send the letter out now.
I was never allowed to.
No, all you gotta do is text your parents.
I don't know what you're talking about because I drop the letter in the mail every year, and I was told if I mail it before December 1st, I'm getting nothing.
Were the milk and cookies always eaten?
Half eaten.
Okay.
For some reason, there was some whiskey as well, but I don't know what that was.
Nice.
So,
hey, look, if I had to deliver a whole bunch of crap in one night, I'd be drunk too.
And the dog was covered in carrots. So, in any event, very cool stuff though. Very cool pickups, and like I said, the Smash series very interesting, especially nowadays. All right, we're gonna get right into this week's topic, and again, this is the viewer asked topic or viewer mail or whatever you want to call it.
Sure,
why not?
We didn't come up with that. How about a retro request?
Ooh, this is why you do what you do, and you do it oh so well. Yes, a retro request here by our good friend and listener Dylan Pincombe on Facebook messaged us asking. First of all, he had two amazing topics.
He did.
One, I guess we'll leave.
We'll save that one for another week.
Until a week that I'm by myself.
Yes.
But this week he asked about suggesting about an N64 episode that actually we did once before, but he was curious about rental exclusives from Blockbuster. And I kind of forgot that Blockbuster did this for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I mean, it's been a while since I've been to a Blockbuster, but yeah, Blockbuster had exclusive rentable games.
Yep. Yes, they did.
And so, Dylan, this one's for you. We're going to talk about, as much as we know, about the Blockbuster exclusive rentals. I know you mentioned N64, which we'll talk about, but in looking through, and something I forgot, there was definitely more than N64 games. So we're going to touch on them.
Yeah, no, I think it started with 16-bit.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. Yeah, there were no...
it does kind of go in order.
Yes.
Yeah, those systems.
Yes.
So we'll get right into it in no particular order.
Well, before we get into it, just to talk really generally about the Blockbuster experience.
Wow, what a difference.
Yeah, haha.
I was
just gonna say, like, because these days, people don't know what it's like to walk into a video store and rent something
unless you live in Bend, Oregon, or whatever that is.
Yes, the last Blockbuster, the one that is that still the one where you can like rent it out for the night and stay, like do a sleepover.
I think so.
You can have a sleepover. Which is kind of awesome.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I would totally do that.
And they're still kicking too.
They're still going and they're fine. But just the idea of being able to go into a store, rent something for a couple of days, enjoy it. Basically, like Redbox and GameFly, the way you can do those. Like I know they're still around, like at supermarkets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm starting to see less.
My cousin swears by GameFly. Swears by it.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Because he says he's like, I rent a game, I plow through it within a month, I send it back and get another one, and
that makes sense.
And then once he likes, he just buys from
exactly
because you can.
I think I've done that. I definitely did it once or twice. You get like the free rental. I tried it, but I just don't plow through games. So
right.
But nevertheless, very cool idea. Blockbuster also was interesting because Blockbuster itself was like the first, to me, the first major chain of video rentals to come in to really start putting mom and pop stores on their toes.
Yes.
Because before that, I remember I would go right around the corner when my mother when my mother grew up. Was a little, I don't even remember the name of the store, unfortunately. And you go in, and it was a mom and pop store. Had some, small section, had what it is, and you rent. But it was very it was very local.
Yep.
You worked in the rental store.
I had Avenue R Video around the corner from me, and then I don't know if it wasn't there when I was like a kid. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But then before that, we would go to, and this was a small chain, just a handful of stores, but it was called Royal Video.
I remember Royal.
And Royal Video, there were a couple of them though.
Yeah.
There was one on Avenue U in Coyle Street, and then I think there was another one on the Avenue U in like East 28th, somewhere like down that way.
Okay.
So there were definitely two because I remember going to both. And then of course Captain Video, which was near Royal Video.
Yes.
So they were right next to each other.
They were, which is where it's like seeing like a McDonald's and a Burger King grocery image.
Mm-hmm.
So Blockbuster came, and I remember going into the Blockbuster for the first time. Again, ours was on Avenue U, and I walk in and I'm like, oh, what is all this? And I remember vividly, I'm like, oh, here's a movie. I grabbed the box, went up to the front to rent it, and they're like, no, you have to grab the movie. I'm like, what are you talking about? With mom and pop stores, I think it was the same with you. You would grab the box, bring it to the counter, and then the person would go in the back. There's a wall of VHS tapes, and then grab the movie.
Correct.
In Blockbuster, the movies were on the shelf, and like that was like a culture shock to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Then why do you have the box out?
Well, to show you the movie. Yeah.
So it was very weird, but
well, you know what it was too? They had such a large collection.
They did, yes.
They like to store it all.
No, of course.
Behind the scenes would have taken up a lot of space.
I ended up using Blockbuster a lot in college, obviously. But and then the video game rentals were just, I mean, they were really, in itself in the beginning, it was no different than a mom and pop store. Just a video game. And the story behind video game rentals, again, is a story for another time. How like Nintendo tried to stop it and stuff. It was very interesting when you read into it. But later on, somehow they got their exclusivities of getting games just for them, which is very interesting. And like I said, I only remember like a couple of these on the list I want to talk about.
Same.
And I rented them a few times. But when you look back on them, especially now as collector's items, forget about it. Some of them are wicked.
They're super expensive.
So, and also Blockbuster was the first one I remember, first company to rent systems.
Yes, I remember that.
Especially Virtual Boy.
Well, because nobody wanted it.
How dare you?
So they were like, "Ooh, let's rent it," and that's what put Blockbuster out of business.
Luckily, I already had a Virtual Boy, so I didn't need to rent one.
Yes, I know you had trash,
but they did sell a cool case.
They did. I remember were they like? I remember I remember a black case for something.
Yeah.
But then I also remember either a blue or a gray case for like the Super Nintendo.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So, all right, so we're gonna get into the list here of games, and again, some of which we played, a lot of which we haven't, but still nevertheless pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. We're going to start with a bunch of Super Nintendo games first.
Yes.
Apparently, Blockbuster had a heavy deal with this company to put out, because they put out a couple of these type of games.
Yes, they did.
Clay Fighter, in this case, Clay Fighter Tournament Edition.
Yes.
For the Super Nintendo.
And this is one of the only ones that I recall actually renting. Like a Blockbuster exclusive Clay Fighter game. I remember renting that one. I don't remember renting anything else.
Okay.
That was, or at least not to my knowledge. You know what I mean? Because like,
oh, totally.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like because like these exclusives had something special going on with them. So that's the only one I remember, and I remember not liking it.
Yeah, well, Clay Fighter was a weird series.
Not a fan of
Clay Fighter. I enjoyed the first one, but and then Tournament Edition. Kind of, Clay Fighter always took like. It was like a spoof of like Street Fighter and stuff like that. So how Street Fighter Tournament Edition was like a slight update to Street Fighter.
Yep.
So was this, and then eventually this led to Clay Fighter 2 Judgment Clay. So which I still love that.
Judgment Clay.
And then next one here that they had was a which one I don't remember, but I wish I was able to purchase. Mm-hmm. Donkey Kong Country Competition cartridge.
Yeah, and what was that about?
Blockbuster, remember Blockbuster ended up having movie awards, some other type
of
awards.
And they had a gaming championship.
They had a gaming championship.
That.
It was the 1994 Blockbuster World Video Game Championship.
Very nice.
And you were able to rent this competition cartridge, which again was a very limited version of the game. I like to compare it to the Star Fox competition cartridge that I actually once owned, and I remember buying that through a Nintendo catalog.
Oh, cool.
Which is probably worth a lot of money now, but
you don't have it.
No, Hurricane Sandy. Yeah. So anyway, so Donkey Kong Country was very limited in levels. Like there was no animal tokens. There was something else missing from it. If I can remember, I think it had like a score counter.
Yeah. So with the score counter, I was wondering like. When you rented it, was there like a window of time, and whoever had the high score on the cartridge was the one who won?
Actually, I think
because I don't remember how they ran.
I think this was just more you could just play the game that was at the thing
from the
championship. The tournament was the tournament. The championship was already done, and it's like, oh, here, just try out.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. So
I'm gonna look up Blockbuster World Championship for fun.
Now, a game that I can definitely talk about. This is what I remember renting. And this I remember vividly renting.
Okay.
On the Super Nintendo, Final Fight Guy.
Yeah, I saw that on the list, and I'm like, I know Final Fight, obviously. Yeah. Final Fight Guy? No idea.
So Final Fight Guy was, again, it was basically like a upgrade, not even an upgraded version, just a special version of Final Fight. Mm-hmm. So I don't remember Final Fight as an arcade when we got the home game.
See, that I remember.
See, I don't remember. Yeah. So to me, when we got Final Fight on Super Nintendo, that was my first iteration of Final Fight. So I only knew Cody and Hagar as the playable characters. In the arcade, there was 3 characters. Cody, Hagar, and Guy. So everyone was like, Guy's awesome. Why put Cody in? Guy's amazing. So somehow, Capcom and Blockbuster, I guess, got together and like, all right. Essentially, it's just replacing Cody with Guy.
Right.
Like, the game itself really isn't different, other than now you're able to use this mysterious third character. I rented the heck out of this, just because I thought it was very cool. Mm-hmm. The rest of the game was no different. I still stunk at it back then.
You just played this guy.
And basically, that was it. Mm-hmm. And it was very weird, because the way they kind of marketed it, too, was almost like, this is like the Japanese version or something like that. So, nevertheless, this was the first one I remember.
And also like as a gamer from the '90s, it's like you're hearing like, "Oh my God, we're playing a Japanese version of the game. This is so cool."
And I was like that because my mom and pop store had TMNT4 Turtles in Time, the Super Famicom edition.
Oh wow!
And you were able to rent it with the converter. Ooh. And I thought I was playing something out of from Mars. So I was like, "This is amazing." Mm-hmm. It was the exact same game. So.
Yeah, exactly. But it was from Japan.
It was from Japan,
and everything is better from Japan.
Yes, well, maybe. But game-wise, yes, amazing.
Yep.
So next on this game, I don't remember this version, but of course I remember the series, both literally the TV show and the games.
Yes, I remember the games.
So Ren and Stimpy,
the show.
Ren and Stimpy, Fire Dogs.
Yeah.
Those fire dogs.
The cover of this game is really wild.
Yeah, it was an episode of where Ren and Stimpy painted themselves like
Dalmatians
yeah,
to work for a firehouse.
Work at a firehouse,
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the song is on the Ren and Stimpy soundtrack that I still have somewhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah, can't get those fire dogs.
Oh, you would have that.
Ren and Stimpy Fire Dogs. I had Ren and Stimpy Vidians.
Oh,
That's the one I had. Ren and Stimpy Fire Dogs, though, is maybe one of the first games. You could probably throw Clay Fighter Tournament Edition in there.
Mm-hmm.
That started a pattern with these Blockbuster games. They weren't really all the best to play.
No.
Yeah,
no.
there's a reason why they were rentables.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's between poor gameplay we're going to see, poor controls. Even though this game got a lot of praise for like its story and stuff like that, just again poor controls, which you're going to hear a lot of now moving forward. But nevertheless, it was really interesting to see as so many Ren and Stimpy games come out. One of them went straight to Blockbuster.
Okay. I think you're. I see your list there, and I'm
yes.
looking at my list here, and I think you're skipping over one I want to cover.
Which is why I skipped over for a reason, because I didn't know if it was truly accurate, but we can talk about it anyway.
Yeah. So one of the games that you were able to rent was the Blockbuster World Championship 2 cartridge for Genesis. And then this was the Sega version of the Blockbuster World Championship event. The cartridge contained a combo of 2 games.
Very odd combo.
Yes, NBA Jam and Judge Dredd.
Yeah, okay.
So those were apparently the games that you played at the, which is weird. Why would you play Judge Dredd? I'm assuming the film studio like to promote the movie.
I guess.
Like push them to put that in the World Championship.
Yeah, this was the second World Championship.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And these cartridges were supposed to be destroyed.
Yeah.
After, Blockbuster was done with them, but obviously they didn't destroy them.
That's why it was weird. Like, I didn't know, in all fairness, we're getting the list off of Games Radar.
Yep.
But when it said the games were destroyed, I'm like, why would they destroy the rentable cartridges? That's why it was a little weird. It was on the list.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, very interesting though. And then, yes, they were probably rentable. Don't get me wrong.
Well, that's probably what it was, because they were rentable only and not allowed to be. They probably weren't allowed to be sold.
Probably.
Based on the agreements they signed with. Yeah.
Totally.
Acclaim and whoever with Judge Dredd.
So that's one. Now this next one is very odd when I looked into this.
Yeah.
This is again for the Genesis. It's called the Game Factory. Mm-hmm. And basically, it was a flash card. Today's version of the EverDrives and stuff like that.
Right.
You were able to load up one game onto it through a dial-up modem. But why I find it weird, first of all, that's Blockbuster just being like, hey, Sega, we're going to pirate your stuff.
Yes,
right
Sega.
Off the bat. And B, why rent it and then go home and load a game? You would think you can load whatever you want. Like, you would think Blockbuster, this would be a home run, because they can literally then put any game they would want, I guess within reason, and rent you the cartridge like that. Then when they get it back, they just flash it clean or something. So, very interesting. There were 3 types of cartridges that were done per color.
Yep.
What were they?
Blue, green, and red.
Yeah, so they were different size cartridges.
Yep.
Depending on the number of games or the size of the game. So, but I never saw this.
No, I never saw that either. And like you said, I'm assuming at a certain point, either they just stopped using it, or obviously somebody came after them and said, "Hey, guess what? You can't pirate our games."
Yeah. Instead of you
to
loading
make money.
this, yeah. And I'm wondering what the dial-up technology was. I wonder if that was the Sega channel.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, it was probably Sega channel related.
Maybe.
I mean, dial-up goes all the way back to Satellaview anyway.
No, true. And you were able to download stuff from there and everything.
Well, actually, if I want to go before,
you go before that.
Go before that, I'll go to the Q link on my Commodore 64.
Wow.
Good old Quantum Link.
Oh, good lord.
I did that once.
Did you? I never know.
I did that. I remember I was sitting in the room and I dialed up, and I had no idea what I was doing, because this is the late 80s. I'm like, what's going on? Dialed up, and then it's like, and again, because it's Commodore 64, it's just a text screen. It's like, okay, you're on, and I'm like,
now what?
What do I do?
Your parents get a bill for like $500.
I'm like, what do I do? Well, you know why? Because I had the floppy disk for the Q-Link. I didn't have like an instruction booklet. So, or like, what do you do?
I'm kind of surprised there was. I would have thought modems would have been so expensive back then.
Yeah, I don't know how I did
Yeah,
it.
what possessed you to go, oh, I can plug a phone into this?
I have no idea,
jack.
but I did it. That's
Kids,
all that matters. I did it.
Back in the day, there was a hole in the wall where the phone came in through.
Yes.
It's called a phone jack.
Yes.
So just real fast then to mention, the first time I ever went online, or excuse me, used a dial-up modem, I remember I was at my grandmother's house. She had a computer. She worked for Sears, and she had a computer. And my uncle, I guess she would dial into work.
Yep.
But he knew how to. You just dial any phone number and it rings. So from her office, he dialed the house number. So the house phone rang, and then my grandmother asked, "Hello." Hello, hello, we're giggling in the other room or whatever.
Of course.
You probably got in trouble later on. But that was the first time I ever experienced anything like that.
That's awesome.
And then later on, Prodigy.
Of course.
And game on from there. So
Nice.
All right, going back to Blockbuster. This one's pretty interesting. It was for the Genesis. Again, as you can see, we're kind of progressing, or at least now we're moving over to Genesis. Madden 93 Championship Edition.
Yes.
Which, again, it's a Blockbuster rental. So it's more a kind
Limited.
of a slight upgrade
Yes.
to Madden 93. This one has basically the reason for it had championship caliber lineups. So the game itself, because I actually read the description's a little deceiving. Madden 93 had the regular version, 8 all-star teams, I should say. Now they didn't have the license for NFL, so it's not real players or real teams.
One of those.
Colors, yeah.
Yep.
But they had 8 additional greatest of all time teams. But this version basically just gave you the best lineups of all those teams.
I see.
Basically, from 1966 to 1991.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It definitely threw together the best of the best, and that's what made it a Blockbuster exclusive.
That's an interesting way to play. I would love to have selfishly, I would love to have an NHL game where they did that, where it's just give me all the championship teams.
Yeah.
And I'm sure maybe they do that now because honestly, I haven't bought an NHL game in a few years.
Oh no, they definitely do nowadays, and every now and again.
Frank would know.
Because
Our friend Frank would know.
It was either last year or the year before. There was you might even still be able to buy it on its own. NHL NHL 94.
Yes.
But it was whatever the modern roster was.
Yes.
A year or two ago. Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody says NHL 94 is the best NHL game ever made. Mm-hmm. So they just keep updating it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really cool.
And I've seen people also put it on carts. I've seen them for Genesis. Yeah. So it's every now and again Game On gets those. Same with Tecmo Bowl.
Oh yeah. Tecmo Bowl.
All right. So now at this point we have moved on. We have graduated to this brand new system that just came out in the world called the Nintendo 64. Yes. And this is where the cream does not rise to the top, unfortunately.
No, it definitely doesn't, but this first game we're going to talk about is one of those games that's really expensive on the marketplace.
If you have it, folks, you can call it a day. Clay Fighter 63 1/3.
Sculptor's Cut.
Sculptor's Cut.
Sculptor's
I love
Cut.
it. I love
now,
it.
this one I also remember renting.
Yes.
This one I specifically remember renting because I remember I didn't like the Super Nintendo one, but the fact that it was N64 in 3D, kind of more 3D, and I was like, ooh, this should be really cool. It was terrible.
It introduced 4 new Clay Fighters, one of which being the Statue of Liberty. And it was also the last Clay Fighter game, really, ever.
There was a reason.
It was, yeah. And like I said, it was just poor controls, especially on the N64. You can see a lot of poor controls and everything like that. It's weird. I don't know if just Blockbuster was like, how far are you guys in production? All right, we'll take it from here.
That's literally what it looked like. It's like when you play it, you're like, wait, where's the background?
Yeah,
wait, what's going on? It's so stark.
Mm-hmm.
Very odd. Yeah, very sad game.
So,
but a very expensive one.
Very expensive game.
Very expensive game. Yeah, look for it on the marketplace and see what it costs to buy it. Jeez.
Up next, Stunt Racer 64.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't remember this one. It was a futuristic racing game.
It's like F-Zero with cars. Like regular cars.
Yeah. But again, apparently it was a solid game. This is one of the fewer that actually had good controls and everything too. So it was touted pretty good. Just, again, it was a rentable exclusive. And a couple of these, and we're actually going to come up on them as well, but I think one maybe in the list that I might have missed even though it was a rentable exclusive, sometimes somebody's ended up getting a regular release.
Yes.
Some of which were only available in Blockbuster to purchase.
Oh, wow.
Which I didn't realize.
Okay,
Yeah, we might have missed one on the list, but there's a couple coming out.
Okay.
This I don't remember, and I don't know if I would have played it or not.
I don't remember, but this would have appealed to me if I saw it.
Transformers Beast Wars Transmetals.
Yeah, because I was a big Transformers fan as a kid, so if I saw this, I would have been like, oh, this is worth trying.
I would have been interesting, except I wasn't a Beast Wars fan.
I wasn't a Beast Wars fan either, but just the fact of a Transformers game.
Not only that, it's a Transformers fighter. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it didn't separate itself from like any other fighters. It's just
I would just want to turn into
Wars?
I would just want to turn into the truck, like Optimus Prime truck, and just run people over.
What? I don't think, unfortunately, he was in this game. Oh. You could be Optimus Primal and turn into a gorilla and run people over.
Well, then I would just eat them like a Rampage.
Yes.
It just changes.
Oh
to
my
that.
God! Yes, George comes out of nowhere. Holy cow! So there wasn't anything special about this. It did eventually. This one did get a regular release, and really the only difference, like if you're a collector, box collector, one will say Blockbuster on it, and the other one doesn't. So that's a big difference between the two.
Okay,
so,
interesting.
Yes. Next up on the list, this one is interesting. NFL Blitz Special Edition.
Another NFL game.
Well, this was very cool because this is along the lines of NBA Jam.
Yes.
Hit and Run, or not Hit and Run. What was the hockey one?
Hit the Ice?
Hit the Ice. Or Hits, I think, maybe.
Hits. H-I-T-Z.
Yes.
H-I-T-Z. Blitz.
Yep.
Hits.
Yep. There you go. Well, everything has a Z on it.
Spits.
Welcome to the early 2000s.
Yes. If it had a Z, it was hardcore.
This one really no difference in Blitz 2001. Just again, there was probably something special in there, but it wasn't anything major.
Yep.
It was an over-top arcade NFL game. Eventually, the game was sold in store. This is one of them where they eventually sold it in store. So, but I don't. Again, one of them I don't remember.
We need to find like a Blockbuster that shut down and just left all of their stuff there. Yeah, and this.
We could.
Well, actually, nobody's ever done this. I don't think. Break in and just reopen it. like, don't steal anything. Just be like, look, we didn't take anything. We just want to restart the business.
The cops show up like, no, we're here for a
purpose. No, we're here. Would you like to rent something?
Here's our W-9.
Yeah.
This game I do remember seeing, but I just never rented it because of what it was.
This looks familiar, but I can't be sure.
Razor Freestyle Scooter.
Yeah. What's interesting here is that, at least as we're going through this part of the list, like, Nintendo went hardcore with Blockbuster, especially right in the N64 phase, because I really think they were pushing to be competitive with PlayStation, because PlayStation was obviously doing so well.
Here's what might throw a cog in that concept of yours with this game. Razor Freestyle Shooter was available on other systems. It was a rentable exclusive on the N64.
Right.
But like it was on the PlayStation or other systems at the same time, but only the N64.
Okay.
And it's basically Tony Hawk on a Razor scooter.
Okay, that's
Which
fun.
Can work.
Although I'm reading here that it had a story.
It had a wicked story.
It had a story mode about robots abducting children.
Yes. How can that not be an amazing game?
Now I want it.
See that, knowing that now, I didn't know there was a story behind it.
Yes, there's a story.
I just saw the kid on a Razor scooter.
Like, can you imagine? I'm saving children with my Razor scooter,
whipping it around your head.
It's almost as good as Michael Jackson Moonwalker.
All right,
Michael.
He sure is saving the kids. I don't know to what though. So Razor scooter.
For what?
Yes, continuing the N64 craze.
Yep.
International Track and Field 2000.
Yay! It's like Summer Olympics.
It is what it is. It's International Track and Field in 2000, and it was a rentable.
Yeah.
But I like how they did make a point, and I'm going to quote the website directly.
Yep.
For many kids, this was the ideal rental game because you played for a day or two and then never touch it again.
Yep.
That was perfect.
Well, that's what all those games were. Like when you rented, like if you ever played like any of the Olympic games and stuff, like I had on N64, like the Nagano Winter Olympics. It was the type of thing you played for like 20 minutes and you're good.
Well, that was the same like winter games, summer games.
Yeah, all of them. Those are ones that you just play for a handful.
Garbage TNC Surf Design.
TNC Surf Design.
Terrible.
I did not like that game either. No bueno.
All right, so here's a game that actually gets a lot of praise in one way and a lot of criticism in the other.
Yes.
Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine for the N64.
Okay, so this game I've played. I did not know they had an N64 exclusive.
Oh, where'd you play it?
Well, I played Is it different than the what's the other version
Oh,
of
I know
this game
what
that
you're
was
talking
out? Was it a PC?
Yeah, they were. Oh, the Atlantis something or other.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different game. I thought Infernal Machine came out on something else.
No. I think it might have been an unlockable on another game.
Maybe.
I think I could be wrong.
Maybe.
On that.
All right, I'm gonna Wikipedia while you talk about it.
So this one, now this was a game that was rentable, but then eventually available for sale only though through Blockbuster and through Lucas website, which I didn't realize.
Got it. Yeah, no. I was correct. It came out on Windows.
Okay, so it was on Windows.
It came out on Windows and it was also Game Boy Color.
That's weird.
Yeah, there was a Game Boy Color version in 2001.
Very interesting.
That's why I knew it, because I was like, I remember playing this because I played it on PC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Good old Windows.
Wow, look at the Game Boy Color version. You know what? I gotta pick that up.
Yeah, there you go. Add to the shopping list. He'll have it next week, folks.
Maybe.
Game on? Hello?
Usually I go to, yeah. So this game, though, was touted as having an amazing story. Mm-hmm. Like the story itself, the Infernal Machine, some sort of, I think, Russian machine that broke up in 4 parts, did something. I don't know what it did. But as much as the story was absolutely phenomenal, like it wasn't Indiana Jones, like we'll take this over Kingdom of Crystal Skulls.
Yeah, we'll take anything over Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Well, I haven't seen Dial of Destiny yet. So.
Oh, that's true.
But
makes Kingdom of the Crystal Skull look good, maybe.
The gameplay was rough and ugly. Again, very typical for these rentables.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Castlevania 64.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And not a good way.
I can see that.
I had Castlevania 64.
You did.
It's just sad. Actually, wait. I still have Castlevania 64.
I would imagine you still have it. Why would you sell it back?
No. I did sell it back, but I think I bought it. I think I bought it somewhere because it was like at the time. Yeah, I bought it somewhere because at the time it was like nothing.
It was so sadistic, you had to buy it again.
I did. I bought it. I didn't buy the sequel though.
Well, the sequel was just like a remake.
Yeah,
it was weird. Yeah,
it was a very odd choice.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of games I should have needed a remake, this game is probably one of the worst selling games of all time. You can joke about the Virtual Boy all you want.
I do. It is the worst thing of all time.
Daikatana. Now, Daikatana on the N64 was an exclusive. Oh, it later got a regular release, but for a while it was exclusive here. This is actually a sequel of an original game that was on the PC. Mm-hmm. The original game, I don't have the exact number, but sold maybe only 41,000 units. 41,000 units.
That's pretty bad.
For the PC. Yeah. So it was one of the worst, one of the biggest flops in gaming history.
Well, almost Virtual Boy flop. Well, and Virtual Boy was console flop. If we get into Virtual Boy game sales, I'm sure there are worse.
I don't know about that.
I agree.
I will stand to differ. No. So Daikatana, actually I think my only interaction with Daikatana I think was an AVGN episode.
Okay.
I think that's the only way I knew about it. I never saw it. I might have seen it, but I never rented it.
Okay.
So, all right. Next up is a weird one, and we're actually breaking the. We're finally getting away from the N64. This I don't remember. Eggs of Steel.
Oh, Eggs of Steel.
Sounds very weird. It's a PlayStation. PS1 exclusive.
I'm sorry. My cat wants my attention.
All right, fair enough. It was just a weird platformer.
It sounds like something that should have been. It almost sounds like something that should have been a hockey game. When I looked at it really quickly, but in my head it went. Eggs of Steel.
Every time you get checked, you break.
Yes.
Like you keep cracking more and more and more.
That's
until you get like a major hit, and then you just
and then you're
open.
Just done.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like he's running around reading letters from his girlfriend or something like that.
He's a construction worker.
Yeah, Egg's name is Charlie. I don't know much more about it.
Because if I was an egg and I had to choose a profession, I would want to be a construction worker with all the tools and stuff around that can totally kill me.
But to be fair, an egg is the perfect container, they say.
Well, tell that to Humpty Dumpty.
I don't get it. I never understood that concept.
Yeah.
All right, and then finally, we are moving on to the Xbox for the most part.
Yes.
This one was an Xbox and a GameCube exclusives. Freestyle Street Soccer.
Oh, okay.
Or I guess Freestyle Street Football for some of you.
4-on-4 soccer in the street.
Arcade style, really nothing to it, very straightforward. With the Xbox, now at that time, we're talking 2001.
Yeah, 102-ish.
I'm in college. Actually, I'm ending college, getting ready to graduate. So, like, at this point, my Blockbuster days are pretty much done.
Okay.
So I don't remember these games.
No, I don't remember if I was still Blockbustering at that time. I think at that point it would have faded.
I don't think, because when I came back home here...
I mean, I was still in college, too.
Yes, you were.
Because I went to college forever.
You did. Well, you got better...
I got a better animation.
This is true. But this one again, it's just a arcade style 4-on-4, like you said. Very straightforward is what it is. Mm-hmm. But this last one, now there might be others, but the last one on this list is very interesting because this is basically rentable DLC.
I want this.
It looks very cool.
Yes.
3 games, all from the Outlaw Golf series, which is actually a very fun series.
I've never played it.
Again,
now I want it.
It's an arcade version golf. You know what it is. So there were 2 for Outlaw Golf.
Yep.
9 holes of Xmas.
Yep.
And then 9 more holes of Xmas.
That sounds great to me.
Again, glorified rentable DLC.
Yes.
And then this one I would love to play. Outlaw Volleyball Red Hot, which has you playing volleyball in the pits of hell.
Oh, that's good. They should do a crossover with that other volleyball game that you love. What is the one with the... with the...
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball.
Yeah, that one.
There you go.
Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball, Red Hot.
That is true.
That'd be awesome.
So volleyball in hell.
Yes.
I gotta see what that looks like.
That does sound kind of fun.
But very...
Is Satan the ref? Like, he sits there, he's just watching. And if you lose, you burn.
Now, these would actually make sense as being rentables back then.
Yeah.
Like, something like this. It's very simple, very straightforward, very quick. Yeah. And again, their version of DLC.
Yes, and what a tagline. All new holes for the holiday.
That's Outlaw Golf for you.
There you go.
So, and with that, again, there might be others out there.
There could be.
But that is a list that we had, some of which we've experienced.
Well, that was a list that we looked up.
Yes.
Let's just say that.
Well, I have I wrote it.
And what I want to point out, too, because I did a quick search for the Blockbuster World Championship, you can find videos of it on YouTube. So if you want to see what the World Championship looked like when it was actually going on, check out YouTube, because there's a few.
I will definitely check that out. All right, cool.
Cool.
So, all right. Well, with that, we will move on.
All right. We are moving on to this week's Game of the Week.
Yes.
And Larry, it was your turn.
It was. And after the debacle and atrocity that was Castlevania 2,
yes,
Simon's Quest, that you forced me through.
Yes.
But
did you finish it?
I did finish it. I got the worst ending, but I got to finish it.
Did you not uphold on a promise you made 20,000 years ago?
So, for those who didn't watch on YouTube, but you heard it on the audio, Episode 7, way back in August of 2016, is when we were talking about, I forgot we were talking about something, but then it led into Castlevania. I'm like, you know what? I'll play Castle. You were in the middle of playing Shining Force 2. That's what it was.
Ah, yes.
And then I went, all right, when you're done with Shining Force 2, I'll play Castlevania 2.
That's right.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I started it, and I never finished it.
Nope.
Almost, which is actually a funny number, but almost 2,600 days later.
2,600?
It's like 2,590 something.
There you go.
I actually tried the math. I finally played and beat Castlevania 2.
Hooray!
So, promise kept.
There you go. Well done.
And I needed a palate cleanser desperately from that. So I went back into the archives and I picked out a game that I absolutely love. Haven't played it in a long time. And I'm like, you know what? Let me get back to basics with this. It was a wonderful arcade game, a wonderful Nintendo game, elevator action.
Yes.
And we got right into it. And we're not going to deep dive as much like we do Castlevania.
No.
But we're going to talk about just some memories of it. Which
There's not a lot to deep dive into.
No, but before we started recording, I want to touch on something that you mentioned, which I find very interesting.
Yes.
Not upsetting, but interesting.
Well, we're okay.
No.
We'll talk about it. Don't worry. Doctor's here.
So, again, it's a very straightforward game. You just get into an elevator, you work your way down. You have to find all the hidden top secret envelopes in the red doors.
Yep.
Then just work your way down and move on.
Get
to the
heck out
level,
of there.
Basically.
Yes.
Because again, it was the simplicity which made it an arcade game, which I loved. I remember playing this over and over. I had it on the Nintendo, played it over and over again. I will admit I played the arcade version mostly that I have on the Switch, the Arcade Archive. And to me, it's almost like an almost perfect arcade game.
Okay.
Because of just the simplicity of how to play, the gameplay itself. At this point, back when I was younger, I was definitely running and gunning it.
Oh, yeah.
Which I learned now not to do.
No, there's strategy involved, obviously.
Totally. And I started...
You run and gun, you die.
No, very much. and I started kind of realizing what that strategy is, and I learned to that, and again, it just kind of we talked about it months ago. Games that just kind of put you at ease.
Yes.
That's just kind of like, all right, like there's no thinking about it. It just puts you in a
no puzzles to solve.
No,
just a simple goal.
None whatsoever. The arcade game came out October of 1983 here in North America. Japan got it May of '83.
Oh wow.
May of '83. No, they got it first.
No.
Oh.
It's funny that you randomly. I was gonna say that you randomly picked it because next month is the 30th anniversary.
Oh, I guess so.
I'm sorry, 40th. 40th anniversary.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I gotta wait.
The U.S. release at least.
Oh well. Boo on
Japan, it was May.
Yeah, no, and and it got tons of ports, of course, all over the place. There's actually a game I want to get on the Game Boy Color.
Okay.
It's elevator action, but it's Dexter's Laboratory.
Oh, interesting.
But it's essentially elevator action.
All right, that's kind of fun.
So
that's fun.
And it was available on the Wii Virtual Console. This, again, chalk it up with a Super Mario Brothers, was a game I've bought over and over and over again.
Well, that's you.
So, yes, it is me.
I did not buy it over.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts about playing when you went back and played on
Well,
this?
what's funny is that I remember, like, this was a game I used to play all the time as a kid. I remember renting it from the video store, and then eventually owning it, just because I rented it so much. So, like, I had a lot of fond memories of it going back into replaying it now. Having played it, and I did play, I tried a little bit of the arcade version, I tried the NES version, and then I did the sequel that they did arcade.
Sequel's very interesting.
Elevator Action Returns was just like
it's different,
completely different, completely different game. But I have to say, going back and playing the NES version, I didn't enjoy it.
Really,
I did not.
It did not age with you. It aged like fine milk.
No, yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes, it aged like milk. It definitely aged like 40-year-old milk. So, I don't know what it was like playing through it. And again, like I probably got further in it now than I ever did as a kid. Because as a kid, you just kind of like want to plow through and you die fast and everything.
Totally. And it was something weird, like being able to control the elevators as a kid. I'm like, this is kind of cool going up and down.
So, but just what was I don't know what I struggled with for me just overall was just a bit of it was control issue.
Okay.
Just and it could be because I wasn't playing the straight up NES version. Reaction time was a bit tough.
Okay, that could be a world of difference.
It could have been
a world of difference.
It could have been, but also it was just it lacked variety, and that's what was hitting me. Where
it is a very repetitive game.
It's a very repetitive game. Every level, there's little variations as to what you do, but and maybe I just didn't get far enough into the game. But like, if I pick a comparison really quickly, we did Solomon's Key a few weeks ago, right? Solomon's Key, same board, right? You got a board. They just change up to vary it and make it more difficult and all that stuff. That one, to me, every board felt different. Elevator Action, even though they tweaked a few things, every board felt the same to me. Okay. And because of that, I got bored with it. So, maybe as a kid, it's like it's the type of thing where like you play stuff as a kid over and over and over again. Course. That's just what we do. I was like, here it's now like by the time I got to like level 4 or 5, I'm like, I'm kind of done with this because I don't really. There's nothing new or exciting in the game that's making me want to keep playing.
That's fair. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and that's where it lost me.
And you know what's funny? You say with the variety or lack thereof, which you're right. Every board it's cookie cutter. But what I didn't realize until I started playing this, because I played it more often in a shorter period of time. Yeah. That there is slight variety though when you play the game because the level layout. And I say layout, meaning where the red doors are. Yes. Where some walls are that block your path. Yes. Those do, like the first level
change.
Will change all the time, which I never put 2 and 2 together until now. Which now I enjoy even more. As much as you weren't crazy about that, I actually enjoy knowing that every time I boot the game up, level 1 is going to be slightly different. Yes. Even though it's still, you got the one corridor,
it's a
and then the larger corridor, and then the dark corridor, and then the one with all the elevator corridor. Yes. So, but I get that. To me, though, I like some of those repetitive games. You know, it was a 1983 arcade game. That's all it was back then. Yeah. Agent 17, codename Otto, is who you took control of.
Yes.
And I always did enjoy, though, that car, when you did get to the bottom of the screen,
Yes.
you jumped in that car, you peeled out,
Yes.
and you came back around. Always enjoyed that. And then not until now, like I said, because I'm older, like I've learned more about the game. Again, where the level layout is constantly changing.
Mm-hmm.
I also realized, like, you only have limited shots, meaning you can only shoot 3 bullets at a time.
Yep.
So that actually changed up my gameplay.
Yep.
So, but nevertheless, elevator action. It was it was meant to be what it was, a simple game.
Yep.
But that was this week's game of the week. So so the last couple of weeks, a lot of people, when they see our game of the week on social media, they've really been saying, "Oh, I remember this game. I haven't played this in a while. This, that, and the other thing." So there you go, folks.
Yeah, it's really cool. And now, based off of that,
Yes.
that you made me suffer through, I get to.
I guess now we're even then.
No, we're not. So, game of the week for next week.
Yes.
Is my turn to choose.
Yes, it is.
And I thought what I would do is we're gonna revisit Castlevania 2.
Oh, what?
Simon's Quest.
No!
Oh, wait. And
I have the redacted version.
and the show's
now.
over. Oh, and the show's over.
So
I was gonna say, like I said last week, you should really play Chronicles 2 so you can see what it's like to play a version that makes sense.
No, but redacted also kind of does that.
Yeah.
Kind of. So
Anyway, no. So
I can play it on my Glow Pocket.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, so what I decided to pick, I was trying to find a console that we haven't covered yet.
Okay.
Just to do something different. And I thought we can do something that we both have, and it's not on the original console, but I have it on the original console, which is cool. But I went to the Japanese Famicom.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought it would be cool to play something from there.
Okay.
And I know we just did recently a Castlevania one, and this is kind of a similar theme, but it's a completely different game. I want us to play Kid Dracula.
Ooh,
on the Famicom.
Yes.
And I know it's part of the Castlevania collection, so you can play it.
Exactly. Yes, it was a Japanese exclusive.
Yep.
When it came out on the collection, it was westernized, so we did get English translation.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, it never came out over here, and it's a kind of a goofy take of Castlevania.
And, and I remember it being a lot of fun because
was.
I do own it for the Famicom.
That's cool. I don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
I own it for the Famicom, and it's a fun game.
Do I?
Do you?
I don't know if you
did. I brought you back a Famicom, didn't I?
A Famicom? No, not at all.
Oh, I
system?
thought I did.
No.
Yeah, I thought I did bring you back a system.
A Famicom Mini?
Oh, I brought you the Mini.
Yep.
That's right. Oh.
Because I went back and listened to those episodes.
Oh, well.
I'm trying to find.
Trying to find that. So Kid.
Okay.
So if you guys have the Castlevania collection or have access to Kid Dracula on Famicom, that is next week's game of the week.
Yes. All right. Cool. So we'll hit on that then.
Yep.
And actually, where can they learn about the game of the week a little earlier? Because sometimes I post it before so people have extra time.
Oh, that's true.
And in general, where can they contact us? Maybe suggest topics.
Oh, yes. Well, you can do all of what he just said at facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, on Instagram at RetroGamersPodcast, on Twitter at RetroGamersPod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube at RetroGamersPodcast, or you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
I know I have a Famicom collection. Here it is.
There you go.
Oh, I don't know what it's called, though, in Japanese.
It starts with an A. You do not have it. You don't have it. I have it.
Yes.
Yay.
All right, cool.
So, based off of that,
yes.
How about we move on to some news?
Let's go.
All right, we're gonna roll into news. Gonna start with some retro birthdays.
Ooh.
Got some really good retro birthdays. All right, we're gonna kick it off.
Wow, it's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are a few of them. I picked a few because they're more connected to us.
Yeah, no, that works.
So the first one.
I don't care about anybody else. I just care about us.
Well, don't say that when we're recording for people to watch.
No, I care about them. I'm just saying. I'm just concerned about us.
Yeah, we just lost viewers.
Well,
so let's get to our retro birthdays. First one comes in 2008. We're celebrating the 15th retro birthday of one of my favorite games on the Xbox 360, and that is Rock Band 2.
Ooh, yes, that was a good one. Is that the one? Oh, no, Rock Band was the whole band anyway.
Yes.
But Rock Band 2, I remember being very great lineup.
Rock Band 2 had a ton of songs on it. It was absolutely great. And also, it's how my friends in LA and I bonded when I first got there. Like, Rock Band brought us together.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's cool.
Memories of rocking out at our office on a Friday night after everybody went home.
What did you play?
It's just blast. What do you mean?
Like, what was your
I don't remember. Rock Band 2, I have no idea.
No, not song. Like
guitar.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I did guitar. Drums I was just okay with.
Drums was rough. I had the drums.
It was guitar, and then obviously everybody took turns singing.
Of
so
course.
At some point I did sing. So
awesome.
But I sound awesome. I sound awesome.
Sure.
I'm like, well, you've never heard me sing.
This is actually true.
See? Because I don't sing on the show like you do, like randomly.
Well, people need to remember things.
Like,
oh, wait. No, we got you last week.
What did I sing?
Slow words, my best friend.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's the most I got out
That's
of you.
the most you got out of me.
almost 30 years.
Well, you know what? Maybe a game of the week is going to be like, we'll pick like Rock Band or American Idol, and we'll just have a sing-off.
I have American Idol, unfortunately.
Why?
It was...
I rented it once just to hear Simon insult me. And it was great.
No,
I got a full insult from Simon. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Someone just gave me a pack of games they didn't want anymore.
Oh, okay.
I meant to sell it back, but I forgot it at home.
Well, you know what? That might be a game of the week, so hang on to it.
We'll see.
All right, so Rock Band 2, 15 years old. Excellent game. Another game celebrating its 15th retro birthday. For the Nintendo DS, Pokemon Platinum is 15 years old.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Again, never got into that series, but an
Same.
amazing series.
Same.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, I was trying to find... I had at this point, sadly, a recording from the lady who played Ash in the cartoon.
Yes.
It was a Kickstarter backer, and I had her going, "I choose you, Larry." And I also had a audio of her recording a voicemail. "Hey, Ash, this is Ash here. Me and Larry are out catching Pokemon. Please leave a message after."
Why did you get rid of that?
No, it's not that it was on the computer, and I can't. It must have crashed. Or something.
Oh, okay.
I've been desperately trying to find it.
Did that give you PTSD back from Romper Room days? I choose you, Larry.
Through the Magic Mirror?
Through the Magic Mirror.
Oh my gosh. I was never really picked on the Magic Mirror.
Oh, okay.
Romper.
All right, well, moving on. Going to 2003, we're celebrating 20th anniversary. 2 retro birthdays.
Well, one good.
Yeah, one game which is WWE Raw 2 for Xbox.
Interesting game. Raw. The first Raw was phenomenal.
Yes, the second one was a little funky.
Goldberg was in it.
And then the second game, which I know you love, Simpsons Hit and Run for the PlayStation 2.
Yes, this is their version of Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi.
Great.
Which, by the way, Simpsons Hit and Run actually is going for a decent amount of money.
I know, it's wild.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I guess it didn't
I would have thought Road Rash.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, you're thinking of...
I get these two confused.
No,
one of them is like GTA-like, and one of them is Crazy Taxi.
Yeah. No, I thought Hit and Run was... No, wait, what was the other Simpsons game?
Well, there was the Simpsons game, which was a real, actual game.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Hit and Run I thought was Crazy Taxi.
I get the two of them confused all the time.
Yeah.
Keep moving. I'll double check here.
Well, the last retro birthday I want to bring up is a big one. It's the 25th retro birthday for Pokemon Yellow. Pikachu.
Wow. Yes, Pokemon Yellow.
25 years.
Actually kind of like the third original game. We got Red and Blue originally, and then they put out Yellow because Pikachu got like so over. Yep. Like everyone loved Pikachu. Like, all right, let's put out a Yellow version of Pikachu. I think the game itself was no different other than you just started with Pikachu.
Yeah, so this is the Game Boy version that came out.
Oh, totally. Hit and Run is the GTA version.
Oh, GTA.
So Road Rash is the Crazy Taxi
Crazy
version.
Taxi. Okay.
This game, Hit and Run, amazing.
Yeah. So those are our retro birthdays.
Okay.
I'm going to fly through
our...
I don't know why that popped up. I'm going to fly through our retro news really quickly. We'll start here, Larry, because I know you were excited about this. But Disney's Gargoyles for the Sega Genesis is getting a remastered version on the Switch next month.
Yeah, Limited Run Games is putting it out. It's getting on modern consoles, getting an HD version, kind of like what they kind of did with that Disney collection, like with Aladdin.
Yes.
But this is actually going to have like HD remix and stuff like that.
Yes.
But what was besides being able to get it on Switch, Xbox, and PS5, Limited Run is putting out a Genesis version, which is going to be strictly the old school version.
Cartridge, yeah.
Talking about rentals, I probably only rented this. I never owned it. Mm-hmm. I rented it just a couple of times. I never watched the cartoon. Actually, a friend of ours, Brandon, down there in Alabama, he loves Gargoyles.
Okay.
So when I heard about this, I definitely sent it to him. I thought it was cool.
Very cool.
But I'm like, you know what? It was a really cool game. Let me get it on the Genesis, so I have that one on order. I'm actually looking forward to it.
Nice.
Yep.
Very nice. And very cool for limited run games.
Yeah. Well, they're
all right. Moving on to Game Boy Advance is getting a new game up for pre-order.
What is this?
It's a game called Good Boy Galaxy.
Okay.
Brand new game for the Game Boy Advance. It's available on Switch PC. It's going to be available on Switch PC, an actual physical cartridge for GBA. It is, I don't know what kind of, it looks like a side-scroller.
It kind of
It's got a little bit of a side-scroller game, so a little spacey. Yeah. So just look up Good Boy Galaxy. It's a dog in space, right? You can't go wrong.
Fair enough.
Good boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, here we go.
It's got, different, I don't know what else it has here. They made it, they compare it to classics like Metroid and Cave Story.
I'm in.
There you go.
And it looks like, has that cell shading, easy for me to say. Like Wario Land 4, Drill Dozer, Kirby.
So there you go. Good Boy Galaxy, new game.
Yeah, I've been seeing more Game Boy Advance games starting to come out, which is pretty
cool. This bit of news we heard just, I think, yesterday or the day before, but Atari... I'm thinking of a different Atari news. There are two Atari things here. So the first one is that Atari has Atari just bought out Atari Age, which is one of the web's oldest retro gaming websites. Yeah. And I remember going to Atari Age like 10 or 15 years ago.
I'm visiting it often.
Yeah.
You can actually buy homebrews and stuff from there. Mm-hmm. Somehow it still just looks like a glorified... you want to talk about going back in history. They never really changed what they look like.
No,
they're just message boards.
That's exactly what it is. And it was originally launched as Atari 2600 Nexus in 1998. So this site's 25 years old.
98.
Yep, it became Atari Age in 2001. Okay. And it's been there the entire time. Atari decided, you know what, we're going to buy this out now. So.
See, that's interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because the person who started the website, Albert Yarusso, has always done good by this website. It's not someone who's out trying to make a buck, not someone who's being like, jerk and stuff. He was just a fan. He started this website for love of Atari, and after 25 years, it finally paid off. Yeah. And now he's working for Atari.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, and again, it's a good way for Atari to target the market of people who are still interested in Atari, especially now that they're doing the Polymega thing and all of that stuff. So really cool for Atari. And then the other bit for Atari.
Yeah, what's this all
talked about the 2600 Plus.
Yes.
Right? I know you have it on.
Hey, it's on order.
It's already on order for you. But they released a... they're talking about the Atari 2600 has difficulty switches, aspect ratio toggles, and firmware updates.
I think how they're going to do it. I mean, it was already announced that you can play games either in 4.3 or 16.9, which I do not understand.
16.9 or 6.4 is what they're listing.
6.4. Okay.
And there's a USB-C port in the back that's going to be used to deliver firmware upgrades to the console.
So you can upgrade the firmware. I did not realize that.
Through the USB-C port.
Interesting. Yes. Very interesting.
So that'll be really cool.
I did only notice recently, after already ordering everything, I was just going back and looking, because it was it's 10 games in one on the cartridge.
Yes.
But the way you flip through the games is not a menu on the cartridge. It's dip switches on the cartridge itself.
Oh, interesting.
That you have to tell. See, that's what I thought. It looks like domino pieces on the cover.
No,
it tells you exactly.
It's the combination of how to play that game.
Yep.
That's kind of cool, though.
Very interesting.
Very different.
Very interesting. But more importantly, this whole upgrade, because a friend of mine, actually Peter, who was on the podcast very briefly when we were at the Retro Expo.
Oh yeah.
He was FPGA all the way. He's always talking about how it'd be interesting how this would be jailbroken. So eventually, it's going to be jailbroken.
Everything is.
I forgot what it's called. He said there's an amazing Atari emulator that is out on the market that people are using. I doubt Atari is, but but I'm like, it's not going to be. It's just going to be the system itself. That's it.
Right.
Now it's interesting to know that it's upgradable, updatable, and we'll see what the hackers out there are going to do with it.
Yeah. So looking forward to that.
Yes, very cool.
Snow Brothers 2.
I didn't even know there was a sequel.
There was a sequel to Snow Brothers. Snow Brothers 2 is getting a remake for the PC and the Switch.
Oh my god, the first one's awesome.
The first one's super fun. So the news, I just wanted to throw that one out there. Because
it was a 1994 arcade game.
Yeah, 1994 arcade game. And it's actually going to be revealed. Well, it was revealed already, but it's going to be shown at the Tokyo Game Show later this month.
Cool.
So Snow Brothers 2, PC and Switch.
Nice.
So if you're a fan of the first one, this is definitely worth looking at.
I'm all in.
All right. One other thing to point out here. I'm going to skip this one because I haven't watched it. 8-Bit Do.
Yes, interesting.
8-Bit Do released a Neo Geo wireless controller.
They did.
And apparently the reviews on it are super solid.
Oh.
So if you are a Neo Geo fan, you need the Neo Geo controller. 8-Bit Do's got you covered.
Yes, I have control. I wonder if I gotta see why not? Because I only have the Neo Geo little like pocket. Not
oh yes,
the arcade.
Yeah, the little
which
arcade.
you can hook up to the TV and
yep.
things. So
well, you go to 8-Bit Do and get yourself a controller.
Maybe. Well, I already have a controller.
Yep.
But still, very cool.
On the coffee table book category.
I feel like we talked about this once before.
We may have. But
no, I'm thinking something else.
This book is coming out. It's called the NES Endings Compendium, Volume 1, 1985 to 1989.
Okay.
So this one is going to be coming out. So Ray Esteban, who works for VGMuseum.com, is doing this book.
Related to Gloria?
No, that's Estefan, not Esteban.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go.
Okay.
Why? You interested?
Not maybe. I don't know.
I want to talk to him, hook it up. But anyway, the whole point of the book is literally you flip through it and it's got the ending for every NES game from 1985 to 89. You can just read through it.
This game should be called Spoiler Alert.
Yeah.
I mean, the book should be called Spoiler Alert. Yeah.
It is the book is 296 pages.
Interesting. All right.
Yep, to cover every single
I might
game.
pick this up. This seems interesting.
Their new publisher, which is Limited Runs Press Run
they're
imprint.
starting to put out books.
Yeah, so they're putting it out. I'm very curious to get this in my collection to just go through endings that I haven't seen because at this point, all the spoiler alerts are done. Yeah, it's 30-something years later, so I'm okay with that.
I'd like to know what the good ending was.
So so the price for the book is the collector's edition is $70.
Oh, did they have a digital copy?
No. Damn. They might. I don't know. But we'll see. So anyway, you can check that out if you want that. Moving on. Again, another Atari bit of Atari news. Bubble Ghost for the Atari ST.
Wow.
So going way back. Is getting a remake for Nintendo Switch and PC.
Oh my gosh.
It launched on the Atari ST back in 1987. Wound up on the Commodore Amiga, Commodore 64, DOS, and then it wound up on Game Boy.
That's why it sounded familiar.
Wound up on Game Boy, and just a description of the game. Guide a little ghost and his bubble through an enchanted mansion filled with dangers and thrilling challenges in this incredible remake of Bubble Ghost. So it's going to be coming out next year, 2024.
Interesting.
So it's a cute little platformer.
Yeah, it is.
So if anybody's interested in that kind of game, look out for that.
I definitely never played it on the Game Boy, but I'm very interested.
A fan has decided to take Portal, iconic game, and they are doing a demake of it. So we're getting a Nintendo 64 version of Portal. Okay. So, and the way that it runs, you actually use two Nintendo 64 controllers.
Dual sticking it,
You dual stick it. So, looks really interesting. There are some videos online to check out. So if you're interested, if you're a big fan of Portal, and you want an N64 demake of it, you can check it out.
Scroll back up for a second.
Yeah, what do you got?
Can you no, scroll back down. Down. Hopefully we can put maybe a screen grab of this. How is your OCD not kicking in right now?
Oh, I can't stand it.
With that,
don't get me started.
So in the thumbnail for the YouTube video, it's two N64 controllers, but they're backwards.
Yes.
They just flip the image.
They flip the image. It's awful. I don't know.
Something looked weird.
I don't know why they didn't just put it the normal way.
It
makes no sense to me.
Okay.
But I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
But their hands. Okay. Whatever.
All right. And then the last bit.
What's that?
The last bit of news I'm going to share. Lego has been notorious for making these things.
Yes.
NES, Atari. Mm-hmm. Well, now Mega is getting into the video game turf for putting stuff together.
The Kmart Lego, in my opinion.
Yes. So Mega has announced that they will be doing an Xbox 360 collector's building set.
That's interesting.
Yep. It's going to be 3/4 scale of an original Xbox 360.
Wow.
And it's 1,342 pieces.
Okay.
To put together.
I know what you were going to say after that.
And it's in It's the Xbox console,
Yeah.
a controller, and a copy of Halo 3.
That's interesting with the Halo
put
3.
together.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Well, the NES came with
that's
Mario.
true, it did.
Came with
Yeah,
Mario.
it did. Yep.
Atari comes with a whole bunch of stuff. So
did you get the Atari one?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I have it. I haven't put it together yet.
Okay.
So,
Excuse me.
so the Xbox 360 collector building set.
Interesting.
I don't know when it's coming out. I'm trying to see. October 8th.
Okay.
And it's $149.99. You can pre-order it at Target. Target.
Wow.
I still haven't bought the Lego Pac-Man one, and I really like that one.
Oh, that one is cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. And that's it for Retro News.
All right, and that was it for us then.
That is it for us. Get out of my house.
Now we have to finish the episode first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One more time. Where can they find us?
You guys can find us on Facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, on Instagram at RetroGamersPodcast, on Twitter at Extra. You ruined my speech.
We are leaving that one in.
You know what? You know where to find us.
Well, now you're learning. All right. And have a good week.
You have a good week as well.
Folks, we'll catch you everywhere next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.